I'm Winter Lake, and tonight, or today, or forever, as my life moves in and exists in two time streams going two separate directions simultaneously, thought I would discuss death to Islam. Islam is a pestilence on the earth, it seeks to convert people to it or die. It is a message that comes with something known as Allah Akbar, which actually means our God is the greatest, our God is greater. Me being a Luciferian, being in the context of inherent evil, I understand the desire for having a God that is greater, but we do not seek to convert. Whereas these types of zealot ideologies do, and in particular the zealots known as Dosh, which is pathetic. They even dislike that, but I love to call them Dosh. They're the zealots that have taken over parts of Iraq and Syria, which is a place that no one would really care about unless it didn't have the fossil fuels of oil that our consumer westernized civilization easily devours by the tons daily. They are well funded. They are well funded through a cartel like nature, sex slavery, sale of antiquities. Ironically, the sale of antiquities is their greatest amount of money garnered for their organization. Kidnapping, ransoming, abduction, and oil. Now, ironically, through oil, too, during this time of January 2015, the world is seeing a drop in oil prices, and many are asking, well, why is that? Well, it is because Daesh are dumping oil on the market, destroying the OPEC cartel, and selling it at $40 a barrel. And China and Russia and other super conglomerates like America are buying it for cheap, which lessens the load and need for it on the global market as they're buying it from the third largest resource on the planet, being Iraq and parts of Syria. So that's why gas is so cheap. It's due instead on the bloodshed of Christians or whoever dislikes their ideology. This Quran is a bloodthirsty doctrine. It seeks to enslave people that are known as infidels. It is a book that I won't swallow, and I will certainly burn. And I have burned it, and I enjoy burning it. It is a filthy doctrine that seeks to enslave women and men and children and those that are considered the infidel or don't follow the path of Islam. There is a savagery without purpose, many would think, but the savagery is with purpose. The savagery and beheadings and killings and knifings and war without end concept is with a purpose of terror to inflict fear into sheeple slaves that are frightened. And they can strike anywhere at any time, and soon they will probably grow exponentially as they have, because they will have every maniac, every psychotic, every fanatic going to these areas in Iraq or whatever they exist and join up with their friends. And it's quite funny because they're just really above the eighth grade reading level or education. They invent nothing, they create nothing, they don't think for themselves, they need to be spoon fed everything, they need to be told where to go, they're told to be secure and how to live, and they're just basically slaves to masters who are using this doctrine of nonsense, this Quran garbage, to rule them. And the Quran is obtuse. It is in two sections. The secondary supersedes the first. The secondary meaning that they are superior to the first. So, and actually, in the secondary form of the doctrine, It says that killing and death to anyone that doesn't take on this doctrine or convert to this religion, and they are justifiably destroyed, as they have done to the Christians in Sanjar and so on and so on, or any of these types that are different from themselves. And it's imperative even for these types that say that I'm a moderate Muslim. There are no moderate Muslims, just like there are no more moderate Satanists. I'm evil. I accept what I am, but I don't seek to convert, enslave, or destroy others. It's just not my nature. I don't care. The sheep will die on their own. The sheep die through their exponential growth and their starvation. This is the path that I have chosen, which is the left-hand path. The power of Ahriman rules the universe. Darkness devours the light. We are one in the dark spirit. And these idiots that go on about this Quran, it makes me laugh. And it fills me with joy to see how stupid people are to go and follow these masters that are really just basically criminals. They're cartel criminals. They're exploiting people. They're sex slaving people. They're kidnapping, abducting, ransoming, selling the antiquities. As I said earlier, antiquities being all of that in the museums and all of the antiquities of all of our history over thousands of years, not really our history or a history. They're selling it on the black market and making loads of money. Just like they're selling these poor women that are involved with that or abducted or stolen, which is horrible, because they do treat women like cattle. You have to wear your burqa, you cannot be revealed, and all this other nonsense. So, anyone that says I'm a moderate Muslim, I laugh at them. It's a joke. Because if they really believe their doctrine, they would understand that the second part of their supposed book supersedes the first part. First part talks about altruism and reality in being one with one another and happy and so on and so on. Second part, bloodthirst, death, evil, destruction, everything that I certainly know about, since I've written 8 books on the subject, sold 100,000 to true believers. And true enough, if I felt like leading a church, it would be the greatest, strongest church in the universe, and it would exponentially grow into an army because we would embrace the evil we are and we would go out in the universe and conquer it. But I have no desire to do that. I have no desire to get into the body politic or trying to help someone get up from where they are or something like that. Luciferian power seeks its own innate nature for its own nature. We are out for ourselves, but we can be grouped and we can be organized if we so choose. Most don't, because it's like herding cats, and they seek to get into the body politic or get into some structure of something of a law or something. It's a waste of time. Luciferians or Satanists, which are one and the same, need to understand that a lot of things for themselves are for unto themselves, and not to deal with this. And Islam is a threat to us as to anyone, because eventually, which is interesting about Daesh, in the stratagem of death and genocide, they are nation builders. They are nation builders, not nation destroyers. The predecessors of Al-Qaeda were nation destroyers for the sake of bringing things to rubble, for trying to establish something from another time, and so on and so on. These are concepts borrowed into Dosh, and they are taken into the concept of, from the previous 1400-year reign that ended in actually the recent 1800s, and then it died off, and now these idiots are trying to resurrect it again. And I don't even care to know their names or whatever, because they're a waste of time to me, although I do know their names, but I'm not going to mention them now. I was very aware of many things that have gone on with Islam for a long time. And even in my last radio address, which I talked to 1 million people or whatever, I said that this man, this supposed deceiving heretic Magi Osama bin Laden was alive. And in saying that he was alive, I didn't reveal everything that I knew because it wouldn't be necessary. And within 1 month of my broadcast, the government went and found him and killed him through special force operation. So it's interesting how that worked out. But as my predecessors, like Lord Byron, the great Satanist, or Vlad Tepes, the great impaler, or Countess Bathory, they all had one thing in common, which I have. We ascribe to the idea that Islam must die. It has always had to die because it is infringement on our beliefs, or beliefs in the way that this happens. Those that seek to convert, I can understand. Luciferianism, Satanism doesn't really seek to convert you. You find it, it's a path that is discovered, like witching, power, or beliefs in black magic might. These things are discovered in the idea that we can dominate our nature, that we can dominate the world and form things to our will. We do not need to go out and find the sheep and bring them to the fold and all this nonsense, or proclaim infidels, or hate on Christians, or actually hate on anyone. Whether you're a Buddhist or Jewish person or whatever, racism is tired. It plays no role in a satanic concept if you're an elevated person. If you understand what I'm talking about in a philosophy of 5,000 years of human existence. And the difference is between Luciferianism, which is diametrically opposed to Islam, is Luciferian liberation as opposed to enslavement. This group seeks to enslave. It seeks to, you shall follow the law of Islam and Allah and all this nonsense and Allah Akbar and our God is greater, which is a lie, or you shall die. That is the difference. And that is why Islam must die, for that very reason. And Ahriman, with the ferocity of evil, will sooner or later bring death to this caliphate and bring death to these idiots and bring death to this religion. Ahriman is the great corrector and has done it before and will do it again. And it's necessary. And it's necessary for people of the left-hand path to understand the threat, even though it's already readily apparent, to move on and move forward and be ever ready. Because containment really, in the end, is not an option to this type of organization. The eventuality is nuclear, radical solution and desolation. It is eventual. Nuclear war is eventual anyway. Actually, nuclear war is eventual. It is ridiculous to think that the nuclear genie can be held in the bottle forever. And sooner or later, that weapon will be utilized, and it will wipe out huge swaths of the population. And that's when the Luciferians rise, or those that are the survivors, or choose to survive in that type of environment. I particularly are not one of them, as I live a life of luxury and really want for nothing and can do whatever I want at a drop of the hat. And a lot of people don't even have it that way. I don't work, I live high, and I live on the rise. It's imperative to ever be rising with the universe and one with darkness. Islam invents and creates nothing, seeks a caliphate to restore its reign again, and it will be destroyed and stopped if anyone in their right mind realizes this. And then things will settle down. And genocide won't revisit itself on the earth again. However, it probably will revisit itself over and over. As population explodes, genocide is eventual, one form or another. Shamhem Farash. So mote it be.